Would you build a house out of sand? I mean, of course not.
Right.
You want like strong bricks, sturdy beams, a solid foundation. That's common sense.
Well, think about it this way. You're building something even more important. Your toddler's body.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's true.
And all those early food choices, those are your building materials.
Oh, that's a great analogy. I like that. So we're talking about what we feed our toddlers today.
Exactly. And today's deep dive is all about that. We're looking at the source. What are you really feeding your toddler? It's fascinating. Really dives deep into how those tiny tummies are literally fueling incredible growth. I mean, we're talking brains, bones, immunity, the whole thing.
And it's mind-blowing. It really is when you think about it. By age 3, a toddler's brain is almost 80% developed.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's like 1 million neural connections are forming every single second.
And those connections, those are built with the nutrients from the food they eat.
So it all comes back to what we're feeding them.
Right. And that's where it gets interesting. The source highlights this big problem. A lot of so-called kid food is basically nutritional sand, like you're saying with the house analogy.
Oh, so like empty calories, not the good stuff.
Exactly. Bright colors and fun shapes, those don't equal healthy brains and bodies, unfortunately.
Okay, so let's break it down. What are some of these sand foods that we might be surprised to learn about? I'm curious.
Well, margarine is a big one. You know, it might seem harmless, but a lot of types are loaded with trans fats.
Trans fats, those are the really bad ones, right?
The worst, these sneaky fats, they actually mess with how cells function. Studies even link them to inflammation, which is like this low-grade fire smoldering inside the body. It's not good.
And even developmental delays.
Potentially, yeah.
Wow, margarine. Huh? Not something you typically think of as a junk food villain.
I know, right? It's sneaky.
So margarine is out. What about all those processed snacks that toddlers seem to love? Crackers, cookies, that kind of thing.
The source calls those out as major culprits.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're full of refined carbohydrates, which cause this rapid spike in blood sugar.
So you get that quick burst of energy, and then the crash.
Exactly. Tantrums, fatigue, mood swings sound familiar.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've seen that firsthand.
It's like a roller coaster. And it's not just the immediate effects either. That blood sugar roller coaster, it sets them up for problems later on too.
Like what?
Well, it actually trains the brain to crave more and more sugary foods.
So it creates a cycle.
A vicious cycle. That can be really hard to break. And you know what the source even points to a scary trend? Fatty liver disease, which used to be considered an adult problem. It's now showing up in toddlers.
Seriously, that's really alarming. So we're building their bodies with sand instead of bricks. And the consequences can be pretty serious.
It's a wake-up call for sure, but don't worry, we're going to talk about what toddlers actually need to thrive. Yeah. What are those essential nutritional bricks that we should be giving them?
Okay, I'm ready for that.
Good, because instead of getting overwhelmed, let's shift gears and focus on the good stuff, you know, what they need to really grow and be healthy. So the source is really big on this idea of nutrient density, you know? It's not just about filling them up. It's about making sure every bite counts.
Makes sense. Their stomachs are tiny.
Exactly. But they need more nutrients per pound than adults do.
Wow. Really? I never thought about it that way.
So yeah, every meal is a chance to build something amazing.
Okay, I'm getting inspired.
Yeah.
But I need specifics. What does that actually look like on a plate? Like, what should I be serving?
Okay, good question. So instead of that sugary granola bar, you could try apple slices with a smear of almond butter.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
Right. Or ditch the margarine on toast and go for mashed avocado with a little sprinkle of sea salt.
Okay, those are good swaps. I like those.
Fine.
What makes those foods nutritional bricks, you know, instead of junk food sand?
Well, think of it this way. Every cell in your toddler's body is like a tiny little engine.
Okay.
It's constantly running and needing fuel.
Right.
But not all fuel is created equal.
So we're talking premium fuel versus the cheap stuff.
Exactly. Things like omega-3 fatty acids. You know, you find those in salmon, walnuts, flaxseed. Those are like premium fuel for brain cells.
Oh, yeah. I've heard omega-3s are good for brain development.
They help those neurons to fire efficiently, leading to better cognitive function.
In iron, what's that like?
Iron's like a tiny little delivery truck. Think of it that way.
A delivery truck?
It carries oxygen throughout the body, keeps those engines running. You find it in lentils and spinach.
I'm starting to get the picture. So we're not just feeding them, we're fueling their growth at a cellular level. It's pretty cool.
It is right. We're building their brains, their bones, their muscles.
Now, there's another piece of this puzzle, too. The source also talks about taste bud programming.
Yeah, that's a really important concept.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more about that. What is taste bud programming?
So the first 5 years of life, those are crucial for developing taste preferences. It's like a window of opportunity, you know?
Right.
If you expose them to a variety of flavors, textures, especially healthy foods, they're much more likely to enjoy those things as they grow up.
Makes sense. But what if they're already hooked on like the sugary stuff or the salty snacks? Are their taste buds doomed?
No, not at all. The source actually challenges this idea that kids inherently dislike healthy food.
Oh, really?
It's more about exposure and repeated tries.
How many tries are we talking here?
Up to 15 tries, believe it or not.
15. I give up after like 3.
I know it can be tough, but it's worth it. If their palates are mainly exposed to those really intense artificial flavors, the subtle flavors of fruits and vegetables, they just don't compare.
So it's a long game.
Yeah.
We need to be patient and persistent.
You got it.
Oh.
But the payoff is huge. We're building a foundation for a lifetime of healthy eating.
That's what we want, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just about avoiding the bad stuff. We also need to actively provide the good stuff. Yeah.
The nutrient-dense foods.
Right. Those are the ones that really fuel their growth.
Right.
Every bite counts.
This is all so fascinating. But let's be honest. It can feel overwhelming for busy parents. You know?
Oh, I know.
The allure of convenience, it's strong. How do we make those healthy choices when we're juggling a million things?
Well, the source acknowledges that. It's a real struggle, but it offers a really hopeful message. It's not about being perfect. It's about making a consistent effort.
So small changes can add up.
Absolutely. They
Yeah.
really do. So let's dive into some practical tips for making those changes, even when life feels chaotic.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
I need all the help I can get.
So let's talk about snacks. For example, instead of those brightly colored bags of processed goodies, what if you reach for a container of plain yogurt and some fresh berries?
You know what? That's a good point. Often they're about the same price at the store.
Right.
We might grumble about the cost of healthy food, but maybe we're not looking at it the right way.
Exactly. Same price, but a big difference in nutrition. One is a quick hit of empty calories. The other is packed with protein, probiotics, fiber, all that good stuff.
So swapping chips for yogurt and berries. That's a good start. What else can we do?
Well, how about rethinking snack time altogether?
Okay, how do we do it?
Swap packaged crackers for carrot sticks with hummus, or bell pepper slices with a little dollop of that plain Greek yogurt, and instead of juice boxes, offer water or milk.
Okay, those are good ideas. I like those. But what about the picky eaters? I mean, my toddler would launch those carrot sticks across the room.
I hear you. That's where patience comes in. It's a really key theme in the source material.
Patience. Okay.
It can take up to 15 tries for a child to accept a new food.
15. Seriously.
Yeah, but consistency is key. Just keep offering those healthy options, even if they get rejected at first.
Okay, I can try that, I guess. But it's tough.
And here's a fun tip from the source. Toddlers love food. That's fun.
Okay, tell me more about this fun food strategy. I'm all ears.
So get creative. You know, avocado toast becomes a smiley face with slices of bell pepper.
I like that.
Or spinach disappears into a smoothie with bananas and berries.
Ah, the sweetness masks the green taste.
Exactly. You're basically a healthy food ninja.
I love it. Sneaking in the good stuff.
Exactly. And you can even turn dinner into a mini science lesson. Broccoli makes your muscles grow strong, like a superhero, you know?
That's so much better than the clean your plate battle.
Right. It's about making it an adventure.
So these small changes, they have a ripple effect.
They really do. The source really emphasizes how choosing nutrient-dense foods, it echoes into their future.
Okay, tell me more about those echoes.
So we're shaping their lifelong health, their learning abilities, even their resilience against chronic diseases.
So it's an investment, not just in their childhood, but in the adult they'll become.
Exactly. That's the long view.
The source mentioned that a toddler's brain uses nearly 50% of their daily calories.
Yeah, that's a lot.
What happens if we're not providing the right fuel for that?
Well, the source lays out a pretty compelling case. If we're not giving them those essential building blocks, like those omega-3 fatty acids, we could be hindering their brain development.
And that could lead to...
Studies have linked omega-3 deficiency to all sorts of problems. Cognitive delays, attention problems, even lower IQ scores.
That's a little scary to think about. What about their physical health?
Well, a diet high in sugar and processed fats, that can actually weaken their immune system, making them more vulnerable to colds, infections, you know, even setting the stage for chronic inflammation down the road.
Inflammation. That's a word we hear a lot these days.
Yeah.
Can you break that down for me?
Sure, it's like the simmering fire inside the body. It's constantly stressing the system.
Oh, I see.
And it's been linked to all sorts of chronic diseases, asthma, heart disease, even some types of cancer.
So it's serious.
Yeah. These things might not show up until adulthood, but the groundwork can be laid in these early years.
So are we giving their body the tools to fight those fires, or are we adding fuel to the flames? That's a good way to put it.
Right. It's a choice we make every day with the food we offer them.
It's sobering. It's like we're setting them up for a lifetime of health challenges if we're not careful.
Yeah, but the good news is it's not too late to start making changes, you know?
So there's hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even small, consistent changes can make a huge difference.
So it's not about being perfect. It's about progress.
You got it.
Okay, so how do we break this junk food cycle and get our toddlers on the path to lifelong health?
Well, the source suggests a mindset shift.
Okay, I like mindset shifts. Tell me more.
From quick and easy to simple and nourishing.
So it's not about overhauling your entire life.
Right. It's about making those conscious, intentional choices one meal at a time.
Okay, I can do that. Small steps, big impact.
Exactly. But how do we actually make those choices? What are some practical tips? You know, for parents who are feeling a little overwhelmed, we'll start with those snacks. For example, instead of prepackaged goodies, think about what you could easily prepare at home.
What do I look like?
Apple slices with almond butter, carrot sticks with hummus, plain yogurt with berries.
Oh, simple?
Right. They're simple. They're nutritious. And toddlers often love them.
Great. But what about those mealtime struggles? I have a really hard time getting my toddler to eat anything other than chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese.
Ugh. The classic struggle. Remember that fun food strategy we talked about?
The smiley face avocado toast.
Exactly. Get creative. Make it a game. Involve them in the cooking process and be patient. You know? It takes time for those little taste buds to adjust.
Okay, I can try that. I can definitely try that. But what about those times when we're just too exhausted to cook? I'm not going to lie. Sometimes those frozen nuggets are a lifesaver.
I hear you. The source acknowledges that we're not aiming for perfection.
Okay, good to know.
It's okay to have those convenience meals every now and then. The key is balance. If most of their meals are made up of whole, unprocessed foods, the occasional chicken nugget isn't going to make or break their health.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better. It's about progress, not perfection.
Exactly. And speaking of role models, isn't the source also saying that we, the parents, need to step up our game too?
Oh, yeah. Lead by example.
Right. Absolutely. Our kids are little sponges. They're absorbing everything we do. If we're constantly reaching for chips and soda, they'll want this.
So it's not just about what we put on their plates. It's about what we're putting on our own.
Exactly. If we enjoy healthy food, our kids are much more likely to as well. It's about creating a positive, nourishing food environment at home. But I know what you're thinking.
I mean, what's the point of all this effort if they're just going to be surrounded by junk food ads and unhealthy options everywhere they go? It feels like an uphill battle sometimes, you know?
Yeah, you're right. That's a valid concern. And the source talks about that.
Yeah.
You know, our kids are going to grow up navigating a world that's filled with tempting, but not so nutritious choices.
Right.
But that's why it's so important to give them the tools to make those good decisions.
So it's not about shielding them from the world, but empowering them to make those healthy choices.
Exactly. By teaching them to appreciate real whole foods early on, we're giving them that foundation for a lifetime of healthy eating habits.
We're helping them develop a palate that recognizes and enjoys those subtle flavors of fruits and vegetables and whole grains. You know, the kind of foods that truly nourish them.
And most importantly, we're teaching them to listen to their bodies, to recognize when they feel energized and nourished versus sluggish and depleted.
It's like giving them a superpower.
It is. It's the ability to choose foods that fuel their bodies and minds, even when they're surrounded by less healthy options.
That is a superpower. The source also has this powerful statement: food is information for the body. What does that mean to you?
It means that every bite sends a message to our cells. It tells them how to function, how to grow, how to thrive.
Wow.
And junk food, it sends these confusing, distorted messages like static on a radio.
But real whole foods.
They deliver clear, harmonious instructions.
That's a powerful image.
Yeah.
It makes you realize we're not just feeding our kids, we're literally programming their bodies.
Right, with every food choice we make.
And as parents, we have this incredible power to shape those messages, you know?
Yeah.
We could choose to nourish their bodies with those nutritional bricks, or we can weaken their foundation with that junk food sand.
It's a big responsibility.
It is. This has been a really eye-opening deep dive. It's a lot to take in, but I'm feeling inspired to make some changes.
Me too. It's a reminder that every meal is an opportunity to make a difference in our children's lives. It might not always be easy, but it's so worth the effort.
Absolutely. Before we wrap up, the source leaves us with this thought-provoking question. It asks, what are you feeding your toddler today? But not just literally. What message are you sending with the food choices you make?
That's the heart of it, isn't it? It's not about obsessing over every calorie or banning treats altogether. It's about recognizing that food is more than just fuel. It's a powerful form of communication.
We're communicating our values, our priorities, and ultimately our love for these amazing little humans.
And that love translates into providing them with the nourishment they need to not just survive, but to thrive.
When we choose that apple with almond butter over the sugary granola bar, we're saying, I believe in you. I believe in your potential. And I want to give you the tools to reach it.
And when we sit down and enjoy a colorful, balanced meal together, we're creating more than just a mealtime routine. We're fostering a healthy relationship with food, one that's built on enjoyment, exploration, and connection.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
We're shaping their future one bite at a time.
Exactly. It's about building their resilience, their confidence, and their ability to make those healthy choices long after they've left our kitchens.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. Imagine your toddler 10, 20, even 30 years from now. What kind of a relationship with food do you want them to have?
What kind of health and vitality do you envision for them? Let those visions guide your choices today. Every bite matters. Every meal is an opportunity to invest in their future.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone. There are resources, experts, communities ready to support you on this journey.
So go forth and nourish those amazing little humans. Build them strong, brick by delicious, nutritious brick.
That's it for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.